42. And holding the right side column on page 222. It's cut off at the bottom over there.
Okay.
You can see 23 in English, you see 23 and it says 22. So the right column, you got it?
Yeah.
Okay, and there's in the right column, as a rabbi's of blessed memory, the fourth line said, reflect upon three things. And it's in Mishnah and Pirkei Avot, nothing's our fathers. Reflect upon three things and you won't come to sin. That's the ... Reflect upon three things, you'll never come to a sin. An eye that sees, an ear that hears, and everything is written, everything is recorded. That's the statement. So it's very nice, a very cute statement. The Mishnah is not written for children only. The Mishnah is written for adults. So what is the meaning of the statement? An eye that hears, and an eye that sees, and an ear that hears, and everything is written down. What is this? What would be the meaning for us adults? That God has, today it's easier. Everything today is recorded. You're being watched. Everybody's being watched. Whatever you do today, there's someplace a camera that is watching you. But self-understood, this means a deeper concept. It's not just one to tell you that God is watching only you. That God, it's like a fear factor. God is watching. I told you they made this guy, the professor in I think Harvard or whatever, one of the big knockers, made a test. I think I said this was that they made a test of this class. They brought these kids in, and they told them that they would get a great prize, and they showed them the prize if they would be able to stand in front of a line, and in front of them was a board that they had to, those darts. They had to get it was a bull butt, and they had to get it. The closer to get it, the bullseye. Whoever gets the most balls on the chart will win a prize, and they have to do it backwards. Right? That was a trick. So it's 5-year-olds. They have to do it backwards, right? Yeah. And they took these kids, and one by one they brought them into the classroom, and they were there themselves. They wanted to see if they would cheat or not, and 100% of the kids cheated. They went and they put the ball on they wanted to win the prize.
Yeah,
so they went, they looked around. You can see it on video, you can see on YouTube this. They look around and they put the ball on the thing. Everybody cheats.
Yeah.
They call in another group of kids and they tell them the same thing. But they take a chair, they put it in front of, like underneath the dartboard, and they said that on this chair is sitting there's a very special princess. Her name is Lily. And you can't see her, but she's watching you. And she loves you, and she doesn't want you to lie, and she doesn't whatever. They give them a whole drasha. And then they take them all out, and they bring them one by one, and you can see the kids are touching the chair. They want to see, but they want to see, but nobody cheats. Not one of them cheats. Nobody cheats. So what's the lesson? So for a kid, Lily, God is watching. The king is watching. You don't know if the king is watching. You can check like this child. Is somebody watching? Is he not watching? That's cute, and that's what we were brought up with. If you went to yeshiva, you went to little school, God is watching, and the king is watching, and he wants the best from you, and you have to be good, and we were brought up that way. But we're adults now, right? We're adults. We have to understand the Mishnah as it talks to sages around the table over here. What is the meaning? What does it mean that God is watching? So to give you a little bit of a little preface, because you want to go a little deeper, it's Kabbalistic. Coming to Holiday of Purim is in this Chodesh Adar is in this week, Tuesday and Wednesday is Chodesh Adar. And others is the holiday of Purim. We find it interesting, the holiday of Purim we don't find anywhere else. And that is that you're obligated, it says in Shulchan Aruch, Chayev Avon Mesuvi B'Purei Adar L'Aviyada. You have to get drunk on Purim. It's a whole argument that that's the halacha or not. and what means to get drunk and whatever. It's all good. But why do you have to get drunk? Not get drunk and get intoxicated. That's not the point. Right. The point is ad layada ben arer haman lebarach mar. Until you don't know the difference between the cursed Haman and the blessed Mordechai. How much do you need to get intoxicated as a Jew to be able to not to make the difference? I don't think I've ever gotten so drunk in my life that I'll be able to say chas v'shalom Mordechai and Baruch Haman. I mean, what do you have to do how would you have to? You'd have to be out of your mind. Therefore, the cursed Haman and the blessed Mordechai, you have to come to a level ad layad until you don't know the difference between the cursed Haman and the blessed Mordechai. So how do you come up to that level of ad layad? So therefore, Shulchan Aruch says, or some those commentators Shulchan Aruch says, the best way to accomplish that is go to sleep. So go to sleep, have a nap on Purim. And it actually brought down some hold that you should drink enough to go to sleep. So you should drink a cup of wine, it'll put you into a drowse, and you go to sleep. And you won't know the difference between Arer Haman and Baruch Mordechai when you sleep. And your sleep actually, what the meaning is, because in your sleep, everything can be abstract. In your sleep, you can come to the level that Haman is Mordechai and Mordechai is Haman. You have that level. In your dreams, everything can happen. Crazy things can happen in dreams. Right? That's what it says. When Mashiach comes, we'll say we're dreaming. This is like a dreaming. This is like a dream. Because crazy things, it's crazy. Seemingly crazy things are happening. It's not crazy. Everything is Kol B'dei Shamayim. Nothing's happening crazy out there. Everything is Kol B'dei Shamayim chutz mi'yireh Shamayim. It says everything is happening what God wants to do. Everything comes from God. God runs the world.
Everything is everything.
Everything is godly. So therefore, they say that the Alter Rebbe once came into his house, his study room, and there was a bunch of Siddim that were talking, that were having a deep conversation. And each one was arguing, what would they do if they were God? What would they do? Now, the Alter Rebbe lived under terrible times, the Tsars, and they were terrible, self-understood terrible people, and wars, and Napoleon, and the Tsars were at war then, and Russia. It was a terrible time for the Jews. And they were all arguing, what would you do if you were God? If you had a situation, you were given a day to be God, or you would be God. Whatever. So it's a philosophical question. Yeah. So the Alter Rebbe passed this. They asked him, the Rebbe passed by. Do you see them arguing? Jews are arguing. What are you arguing about? They said this. We're arguing. So what would you do? They asked the Alter Rebbe, one who wrote the Tanya, what would you do? He said, I would do exactly what God's doing. I would do exactly the same. When you say Kol B'dei Shamayim, then Kol B'dei Shamayim. Can't say that something is out of God's control and he doesn't know what's going on, or he has no control of what's going on. That you don't believe in God, basically. You have a very short belief in knowledge and the aspect of what God is. So, Adalayada. You have to come to a level of a situation where there's a place in the aspect of godliness that is above understanding of man. Right? You have to come to, we're in a level in godliness there's no difference between Haman and Mordechai, okay? There's no difference because God created Haman and God created Mordechai. He created them both. Haman didn't come falling off a tree someplace. He was created by God. God makes the pharaohs hard. They don't just come from nowhere. They come, they're planted, they're put there by the HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
He hung from a tree.
He hung from the tree later, but he didn't come from the tree. Correct. Thank you for helping me out. So, be able to celebrate Purim, to be able truly to celebrate Purim, is to come to a situation where Purim brings you to the true concept of Adalayada, to the true aspect of connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and on a level, not only that I comprehend, that everything has to fit in order, and so to say, God has to fit in the order of A, B, C, D, but God is everything. And therefore, He's a Toyu and He's a Tikkun. He is the correct form of everything, and the normal form of seder, and there is the chaotic concept, the loyada. There's the concept of the loyada. The God is which is hard to comprehend. The chaotic olam hatoyu chassidus is olam hatoyu. So evil comes from olam hatoyu chassidus. Evil comes from a higher world than good. Okay, it's a hard thing to comprehend. So evil comes from olam hatoyu, from the hidden world of toyu, of chaos, so to say. Seemingly we call it chaos. As us, we call it chaos. God is no chaos. The God chaos is part of creation. It's part of the journey. It actually makes the journey. Chaos makes the journey. Chabad is chaos. But it makes it all. My friends. Right? So chaos sometimes makes the whole journey of what the purpose is. You know, the very powerful statement of Gemara on Purim. It says, Kimu mashe kiblu kvar. That what the Yidden accepted upon himself, a matan Torah, what the Jews accepted upon themselves, a matan Torah, the giving of the Torah, they said, Naaseh v'nishma. Right? But they didn't accomplish that concept until Purim. It took them over 1,000 years to accomplish matan Torah. That's why.
Why? How?
Because they took upon themselves, they went to Mesiras Nefesh. And matan Torah, God put a mountain over their heads. And they told them, either you accept upon yourself the Torah, or I'll bury you right here.
Yeah.
Right? So they said, Naaseh v'nishma. They said, we'll do, and we'll understand.
And then we had the golden calf.
And then they had the golden calf. That's how much they would do, and they understand.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of other things after that. Kairach, you have a lot of stories, book of stories. But then comes Haman, and he awakens up the Jews like they never were awoken before. And this chaotic guy, this Haman guy, comes and awakens up the Jews that they haven't been awoken for 1,000 years. They never been awoken. If they accomplish what they were supposed to accomplish about the Torah. So really the truth is, Kimu v'kiblu. That's why in the Megillah, you see in the Megillah, it says Kimu v'kiblu. The Gemara says Kimu mashe kiblu. Kimu v'kiblu. It's a very interesting word in the Megillah. If you listen, you have to word hello, you didn't listen to the Megillah last year. It says Kimu v'kiblu haYehudim. Kimu, they did, and they accepted. Kiblu, the Jews, Kimu, they did, and they accepted. The Jews, Kimu v'kiblu. So it's a double expression. Kimu v'kiblu. So the Gemara says, not my statement, the Gemara says, Kimu mashe kiblu. Kimu, they did what they accepted 1,000 years ago. They accomplished what they accepted 1,000 years ago. So what they accepted 1,000 years ago, Matan Torah, under seemingly a coming out of Egypt and going through unbelievable revelations, sure they would accept it, right? But they didn't internalize it. So it took them 1,000 years. Had to come a chaotic guy, Haman, and accomplished by the Jews, Kimu, that they would accept upon themselves. They would do what they took about in a short period of time. They would accomplish that God wanted to accomplish at giving you the Torah. So really, the chaotic situation, the Haman, that's what he says. Ad delayade. Therefore, in a way, we have to thank Haman. You got to thank the Haman, right? Baruch Haman, right? Baruch Haman. You got to get a little drunk, because with derech haseichel you can't come to that conclusion. In a natural form of understanding, it's hard to come to that statement. But if you get a little drunk and you go to the level of Adilayad, whether you get a little drunk or you go to sleep, whatever, either way, pick your choice. Or if you can get spiritual, it's hard for men here. We need a drink. It's hard to get spiritually drunk. What?
We come to this class and we get spiritual.
You get spiritually drunk. Okay. So if you get a little, the Shulchan Aruch, it doesn't mean spiritually drunk. It says the Chayiv on the Summa B'Puria. You got to get drunk. What else? What are you looking at me? It's a code of Jewish law. You're gonna argue.
I've never met a rabbi who didn't want to drink it.
What?
What's the source of the drunk thing? Because I
It's a
don't buy
Gemara.
into it at all. What?
Oh.
The Shulchan
Then
Aruch.
go to
who wrote the
sleep.
Shulchan-
Amar Rava. Chayev Adam Mesume Bepuri Adal Yada. Amar Rav Moshe. I don't buy into it.
Who wrote it?
You should have put that in the Gemara.
There were shuls that don't allow
It's the Gemara. Amar Rava, great sage.
They're never wrong.
Never.
Hashem, Moshe was wrong.
No. Moshe was never wrong.
Moshe was wrong. It's
This Moshe is wrong. Moshe Rabbeinu is never wrong.
Moshe was not wrong in the Torah.
No.
When he did the rock
No,
thing?
no, he was not wrong.
The rock.
He was not wrong. He was not wrong. Never wrong. Okay, he was wrong. What he was wrong. I give
says he
it.
was wrong.
Okay. There's wrong and wrong. There's two different levels to wrong. Okay.
Right, not our kind of wrong.
Okay. Two different
Hear that
levels.
one, Rabbi.
Halavai, you would do something wrong and the rock would give out water.
Say it again.
Halavai, say he would do something wrong. You would hit a rock and it would give out water. Trust me. If I was thirsty and I asked you to pray to it and you hit it, I need a cup of water, and you hit it and you gave out water, I would say thank you. Right? I wouldn't say you're wrong. I told you only to pray to it. So Moshe Rabbeinu hit the rock and the water came out of the rock anyway.
But didn't
That's not totally wrong. That means he must have done something right.
Hashem says because you
Okay.
of the
Okay.
act that you did
That's
in that
it.
place.
That's great. Go kedusha in the aspect of holiness and spirituality, but that's there's a concept of right and wrong. Ain't tzaddik be'orah tashel le'yechta. The Mishnah says no righteous man in the world that doesn't sin. Well, the Alter Rebbe says if you're righteous, then you're not a sinner. So how do you say if you're righteous, even you're obeying according to the Tanya, you never sinned. So if you're righteous, you surely never sinned. So how does the statement say there's no righteous man in the world that doesn't sin? Then you're not righteous.
So
The answer is if you to the level of righteousness is always a concept of sin, because creation, any created entity to God is something that is lacking. It's a lacking. It's a lacking concept. To infinity, finite is a lacking concept. Sin does not mean that we think sin as something negative. In Chassidus, sin is lacking.
wow.
Could be 1%.
Wow.
Lacking.
Oh, 1%.
Okay? Understand? If today is less successful than yesterday, it's sin. You have sinned. That means if you did nothing today, you didn't do a sin. You made now one sin, but basically you didn't accomplish anything today positive. Today was lacking, then you have sinned. That's a sin. Even though you didn't do one of the 365 negative sins.
I'm in real trouble.
You're lacking. God told Moshe Rabbeinu, you didn't sanctify, you were lacking in that level. Not that you did a sin.
Only God is
You were lacking in this level of holiness. That's it. Not that you have done a sin. God would not let the water flow if there was a sin. It was lacking. Lacking. Halavai would all be lacking like Moshe Rabbeinu. Yeah? What?
Yesterday in shul, when you mentioned in the morning when you say Modeh Ani,
Right.
and thanking, you're not responsible, right?
Right. Correct. That's the Rebbe. See, the Rebbe never wanted anybody to be responsible. He was lover of Jews, and he didn't want anybody to be responsible for their unintentional acts. We want everybody to be responsible for other people's, even their intentional and even their unintentional acts. But a tzaddik doesn't want a person to be responsible. He has no problem that everybody should be forgiven and everybody should be righteous. When Yeshua comes to Moses and says, "Oh, they're all prophets," what does he answer? Let them all be prophets. What does it bother me? Halavai that every Jew would be righteous, or every Jew would be prophets. What is that lacking in me? I'm not lacking in that. That's why we have jealousy, because we feel that we're lacking. We are missing something, and your greatness is making my lacking more. You're accentuating it. Oh, we don't like that. You don't. I don't like that. So I got to put you down because you're making not that you're making me look bad.
You know? Ten Commandments also.
Whatever. We have a problem. We feel, and the Avish says, that's why we learned a beautiful statement actually in the class where the Gemara brings down that there's an argument in the Gemara. What is the greatest pasuk in the Torah? What is the most powerful pasuk in the Torah? So one sage says the most powerful pasuk in the Torah is V'ahavta l'reacha kamecha, love thy neighbor as thyself. Comes the Zayd, I think it was. He says the most powerful pasuk in the Torah is Gibitzelem Elakim Asa Sa'adam. The most powerful verse in the Torah, God made every person in His image. That's revolutionary. That every person, man, woman, child, rich, poor, smart, stupid, whatever, it doesn't make a difference. Every Jew is created in the image of the Eibishter. That's revolutionary. There's no hierarchy in the Torah. It's all equality. Even though we're different. Every person is created different, but equal. There's nobody who can say, I'm greater than you. And that was great in Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu, the greatest leader of the generation, in history, was an honor. Because why? He said, what I have was given to me. It has nothing to do with me. So therefore, I'm not better than you. I was given a certain job, and you were given a certain job. And we both have to do our jobs.
What about non-Jews, you're saying?
Non-Jews, Jews, doesn't make a difference. Doesn't make a difference. It's all the same thing. The Eibusha created man as in his image. And he gave every human being. The Gemara says the greatness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you see the greatness of God in that verse, so many things. That the Eibusha created billions of people, and they're all different.
Wow.
They're all different. They're not the same. There's no two people that are the same. And at the same moment, the Eibusha gave each and every person a purpose and a reason and an agenda. And everybody is needed. There's not a person, not an entity in the world that is not needed by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, especially humans. So that's revolutionary. That's unbelievable, that verse. That verse. Kibitzelem elakim asas adam. That in the image of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God made every human being.
So how do the Jews differ from that?
We have a different purpose. V'atem ti kedoshim. You shall be holy. Your job is the concept of holiness. Your job is to go above nature. The world is the world of nature. They need a l'sheves yitzarek. They have created nations of the world to make sure that it's a world that is healthy and safe and successful, so that the Jews will be able to make this a holy world.
And what does He give us as a tool to do that?
Torah mitzvahs. What do you mean? You have a Torah mitzvahs. That's the tool to do it. You're setting me up over here. Yeah. Okay, good. She's like throwing me the ball. I'm like, okay, yeah. So yeah. So the Eibusha gave it Torah, kedusha. That's why the Torah is the aspect of kedusha. That's why the beauty of yesterday's parsha is all halachas, man and man, between cows and cows. But it's Dvar Hashem zu halacha. It's the word of God that's in the halacha. Right? You can go to you go to civil court, but the Torah tells you have to go to Jewish court. Because the Jewish court has Dvar Hashem. Has God within the halacha. So God's going to tell you what to do with an ox goring an ox. Civil law doesn't have to follow the Torah law and ox goring ox. They don't. If a goyish guy's ox kills a goyish guy's ox, then the Torah tells you have to have a court and make up what you want to make up. Should be responsible, shouldn't be responsible, it doesn't make a difference. As long as you have justice. The Torah tells you, but to a Yid, it's a whole different thing. The first time, the second time, the third time, whatever. We all know Tam, Mu'ed, the first two times, the third time becomes a Mu'ed. It's all up as a godly concept.
So we don't have a different soul than the rest of the nations?
We have an addition.
You're trying to drag me into this thing again.
Just a quick.
Yes, we do. We have a nefesh of the kiss. Not because it's better, because you have a different purpose.
Right. So we're given the tool.
Hello, I have a man's soul, you have a woman's soul.
Yes, that's it.
When my nefesh is neshama de ban, your neshama de ma, and we have different. I'm sorry, you're ban and I'm ma, and see, I couldn't mix it up. What would make a difference? Because it's all Kabbalistic words. It has no, because we have a different purpose in this world, and therefore we have a different neshama, a different level of soul, and it doesn't make me better or more important or less important.
Gives us more responsibility.
What
It
about
tells
inside
the same soul. He has a deeper level of soul. He has a deeper level of soul. He has a deeper connection to his soul. He has a deeper concept of his soul. We don't. We have a very limited level of soul. There's 5 levels of the neshama, the Kabbalah says. You have nefesh, ruach, neshama, chai, yechida. Most of us have the capability of reaching up to the first 3 levels of our soul. The nefesh, the ruach, and the neshama. The nefesh is the basic part of the soul. The ruach is the emotions of the soul. And the neshama is the intellect of the soul. Which neshama is feminine, as I say many times. Yeah. So the neshama is also feminine.
It's also the world
what?
that the soul comes from. Moses came from the world of Atzilus, a very high level.
Yeah, but Atzilus has to come to Bria, and it has to come to Yitzir, and it has to come to Yisir. So it doesn't make a difference, really. It doesn't really make a difference, because all these worlds are all interconnected. And that's why the Chassidus says, we learned before, that we all have a spark of Moshe Rabbeinu. So why? Because since it's in the Neshama Atzilus, so it's soul, we are all interconnected souls. So it's ultimately, we're all one soul. Like the Gemara says, Lama nivra adam yechidi. Adam. Lama nivra adam yechidi. Why was man created singular? Right? Everything in the world was created, every animal was created male and female. Why was male and female created as one? Right? Before he separated them. They were one. Why couldn't God create a man and a woman?
Yes.
So what? Right?
So that a man wouldn't say, I'm first, therefore I'm more important.
Or, actually, very good, but that's what the Mishnah, the Mishnah says, the Mishnah doesn't say that, the man said it anyway, but the Mishnah says, the Mishnah gives 4 reasons, we learned that also that Thursday, the Mishnah gives 4 reasons why a man is created a yachid, and the answer is, one of the answers of the Mishnah is, that everybody is equal. Nobody can say, I was born from somebody else, right? If somebody would say, I was born from Adam, I have the Adam side, you would say, no, you have Chava's side. No, we only have one side. We have one entity. The truth of Chassidus says, goes a step further. The truth is, everyone comes out of the neshama of Adam. He is the original soul that comes forth all these souls. So we are all connected. That's why Adam has no name.
I thought it was Adam.
No, that's not his name. Adam means humanity. Adam, mankind. Humankind. Chava has a name. Adam has no name. We're all Adam.
Adam means earth, right? It means
Adam has 2 meanings. It means Adama. Right. It means Adame. It means Adame. It means Adam, earth, or it means Adame. It means I'm compared to something. So I have the 2 entities. I'm compared to my godly soul, or I'm going to be compared to my earthly soul. My Adam. Right? Or you could say Adam stands for Adam, David, and Mashiach. It's the beginning, the middle, and the end. Right? I knew that you liked the Mashiach one. That was for you. That was for you. Okay. What? Yeah, the beginning, David HaMelech, he was the one who ultimately, David saw Chai V'Kayim. We love David HaMelech, accomplished what nobody else accomplished. And ultimately, we need Mashiach, who's going to be a Ben David, or be a son of David. So that's Adam. It's the beginning, the middle, and the end.
That from Medrash? Where's it from?
It's a Gemara someplace. It's a famous. No, it's not. It's either Medrash or it's a. Okay. You like Gemara. You like Gemara. So there's you find the Gemara Teku. Right, Teku. Right? You're not holding Baba Metzia. Yeah, you did the whole Shas. Baba Metzia, right? Teku. You're allowed to find a lot of Tekus. What's Teku mean? Yeah. Teku means Tishbi Yitaras Kushra Babayis. Teku, when the Gemara comes to a stop, he cannot come to a conclusion. The Gemara says, wait for Mashiach to come. Right? Tishbi Yitaras Kushra Babayis. Tishbi. Mashiach will answer the question. Imagine you're sitting and arguing in halacha, and what's the answer? You wait for Mashiach. Mashiach will come and answer.
See, that's why we need him now.
Mashiach will answer the question. Will they answer the question? Or the Gemara says, you have an argument in the Gemara in money issues. Here's one of the cases where the Mashiach says, with the Gemara says, take the money, put it aside, and let it lay there till Mashiach comes.
Wow.
Then it won't mean anything.
Right.
So first of all, what does that mean? I mean, you wait for Mashiach to come. You're going to wait for Mashiach to come to decide. I mean, the Gemara was written 2,000 years ago. That's good. Number two is how you answer a question like this. How do you answer a question in halacha? Wait for Mashiach to come. I didn't come to you to ask a question in Jewish law. You're going to answer. Wait for Mashiach to come. So the Gemara want to tell you because Mashiach comes is going to be first of all Mashiach, like your question. When Mashiach comes, you're not going to even have this question even. Right? There won't be any arguments. There won't be any fights. There won't be any. There'll be no jealousy, no hatred. There'll be no.
Yeah.
But there'll still be the halacha. There'll still be the Torah. Because even, so in essence, the Gemara wants to tell you, you have to go into the deeper of this halacha. You have to go into the chassidus of this halacha. You have to go into the Mashiach's answer of this halacha. If you want to understand this halacha, you have to go into this halacha a little deeper. You have to go into the Kabbalistic meaning of this halacha. You have to go into the Devar Hashem of this. I can't explain you this halacha according to rational sense because I can't come to a conclusion rationally. Okay, I can't come to a conclusion. Whatever you're going to go this way, I'll answer you that way. You're going to go. You're right. I have no answer, and therefore, Tishbi Yitarik Teku. You need to go a Kabbalistic concept in this halacha. You got to go a little bit spiritual. If you're not going to go Tishbi, if you're not going to go to the spiritual part of this halacha, you'll never understand this halacha.
Like Paradama. You're never going to understand it.
Right. Correct. You'll never understand. Oh, that you won't understand even Al-Kabir Galil will be different to understand.
What halacha are you talking about?
A lot of halacha. Until you go open the Gemara, you'll see a lot of halacha. Not every, sometimes, many times, the Gemara says take it. You have a famous story in the Gemara, Rabbi Akiva. Moshe Rabbeinu gives, the Eibusher gives Moshe Rabbeinu to see the history, the future of the world. Right? And the Medrash says that he's traveling through Israel in his journey. It's a very fast journey. But on one of his stops, he comes to the study house of Rabbi Akiva, and Rabbi Akiva is teaching his students Gemara, halacha, teaching. The Gemara was not written yet. He's teaching them Torah, and Moshe Rabbeinu sits in the corner and he's listening to the conversation, and he doesn't understand what the heck he's talking about. Bush doesn't know what's going on. He gets embarrassed. I gave the Torah. I don't know what they're talking about. This Rabbi Akiva is explaining I don't know what he's talking about. He's explaining, the Gemara said, the crown to the Torah. This guy was a genius. The guy's more smarter than me. I don't know what he's talking about. So the Eibusher felt his sadness. So suddenly one of the students started arguing with Rabbi Akiva. Started to argue with him. Oh, but it's not right. And they're going backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. They're arguing back. So Rabbi Akiva says, you know what? Enough is enough. Halacha l'Moshe Sinai. He says, that's what Moshe Rabbeinu said at Mount Sinai. That is it. Stop arguing. You have any arguments? Go to Moshe Rabbeinu.
Who's sitting over there?
You have any complaints? Go to Moshe Rabbeinu. That's not, we can argue and argue and argue, but there has to come a point that you have to go stop it. You have to say, that's the way it is. Whether you logically understand it, whether you logically don't understand it, halacha l'Moshe Sinai. That's the halacha. Go to Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu suddenly felt good.
I heard this that Moshe Rabbeinu said this guy is higher than me.
Right, he said.
But Rabbi, you just proved my point
Yes.
that I made earlier because Rabbi Akiva made a mistake. He thought somebody was the Mashiach and supported him. So everyone can make a mistake.
Oh, sure.
Rabbi Akiva didn't make a mistake. Rabbi Akiva didn't make a mistake. Again, Rabbi Akiva did not make a mistake.
But
No.
he was supporting
Rabbi Akiva didn't make a mistake. No, when Rabbi Akiva supported him, he was Mashiach. Trust me. Rabbi Akiva did not make a mistake.
What does that
First
mean?
one.
Yeah, everybody has their free choice. Rabbi Akiva is supported by Kochva. He was Mashiach. But then Rabbi Kochva proved that he was that he was not. So that's
Rabbi
it.
Akiva was wrong.
So Rabbi Akiva was right.
He was wrong.
He was not right. He was not wrong. Rabbi Akiva was 100% right.
How?
You're not getting away
Because
from
Rabbi Kochva should have been Mashiach.
I gotta say,
He messed it away. You know, the great tzaddikim who gave times for Mashiach.
Yeah.
The great tzaddikim in history who gave times to Mashiach. And then they asked him why. He said the Mashiach should have come, but the generation was not ready. It's okay. It's a famous story of the Gemara. Yeah. The Gemara says that I forgot the Tana, Rabbi Yehuda met Eliyahu Hanavi and asked him when Mashiach's coming. So he told him, go to the gates of Yerushalayim. You're going to meet there a poor man. You're going to meet there a bunch of poor people. And one of the poor people is Mashiach. And asked him the question. He says, how do I know which one's Mashiach? And he told him exactly. And he comes to him, he meets him, he says, oh, I know who you are, you're Mashiach. And the guy says, oh, okay, so sorry, you're right. What's your question? When are you coming? And the guy says, Hayoim, I'm coming today.
Yeah, if you're ready.
He goes home, he's the happiest guy in the world. Mashiach starts packing his packages, he's getting ready to Mashiach to come, right? Mashiach doesn't come. So he tries to find the guy's gone already. He meets Eliyahu the next day. He says, the Mashiach lied to me. He's a lawyer. I met Mashiach. I asked him when he's coming. He said, Hayoim. So the Yoim said, no, he said the truth. Hayoim in Bekoilish Tishmo. He said a pasuk. He was telling you a pasuk. Hayoim, he's going to come today in Bekoilish Tishmo. If the Jewish people will listen, he would come today. So it was Mashiach lied? No. Eliyahu Navi lied? No. Nobody lies. Rabbi Akiva didn't lie. It said that Kach was Mashiach. He was 100% right.
You are saying that Mashiach exists in every generation.
Absolutely.
I'm saying it says that.
That's
what it says. I'm not Mashiach, I tell you right now.
You're not going to like my point.
Right. Say it anyway.
Isn't believing, okay, a human being can never make a mistake.
I didn't say
Isn't that a form of idol worship?
I don't no. Why is that? Why can a human being not make a mistake? Why do humans have to make a mistake? Where does it say in the Torah that humans have to make it? That's a goyish thing.
It's the conclusion.
No, humans should not make no mistakes.
Nobody will be greater than Moshe.
A Beinoni doesn't make a mistake. Look at Tanya. Look at Tanya. A Beinoni never makes a mistake. Why do we have to have this convoluted thing that we need to make mistakes?
Well, that's why we're apologizing for all our
sins. No, because the sin. First of all, we're not apologizing for sins per se that we. First of all, you look through that list. Maybe so here for those sins you didn't do. So that's number one. You don't take it out. You don't take it out. Number two, there's many levels of sins. There's many levels within a sin.
Yeah.
If you're not a ganef physically, it doesn't mean you're not a ganef. You could have ganven in different ways.
Yeah.
Okay? You lie to somebody as Geneva. You misrepresented something. It could be Geneva. It's not Geneva. Can you go to court for misrepresenting? No, it's not is it a total law of loy signev? No. It's a spiritual, it's a more refined concept of Geneva. But it's not the total law of prohibition of Geneva. If I misrepresented something. It's a spiritual concept. It's a more of a delicate issue, and you shouldn't do it. But have you done the sin of Geneva? No, I haven't done it. So I'm not a ganef. Even though I misrepresented myself 100 times, if I didn't ganef on anybody, I'm not a ganef. You cannot take me to court and say I'm a ganef. But am I a ganef in a more refined spiritual level? Yes. Could we all do things in a more spiritual, refined level negatively? Yes. Even though we never did one sin. That's the Beinoni. The Beinoni doesn't do a sin, but that he has a desire to do a sin is already a problem.
For a Beinoni.
For a human being. That you have a desire, it's already something not so great. It's already showing a lacking of what a human should be. That he should refine himself, not even have a desire to do a sin. But if I have a desire to do a sin, I've sinned. No. That's because I have desire. If I control myself and I never do a sin, even though I have the biggest desires, I'm a sinner? No. I'm not a sinner. I'm a tzaddik? No. What? 100%. You're greater mitzvah than greater mitzvah than you wouldn't do. That's why a Baal Tshuva stands higher than a tzaddik. Because a tzaddik doesn't have a desire to sin. A Beinoni has a desire to sin. A Baal Tshuva has a desire to sin. And he controls his desires. Why do I need to be... That's the opposite. If I decide that we are flawed and we are basically then flawed. We're flawed people. No, we're not flawed people. The Eibishter created us, and we're perfect people. Yay! Oh, thank you. We don't have to sin. We should not sin. We should never sin.
But we should
never.
sin.
Okay, now we should not want to sin. Okay, that's a pretty high level. But sin, you should never sin. Nobody should ever sin.
I have another question. You're not going to like it.
I know.
If you put Moshe Rabbeinu and the Lubavitcher Rebbe and Moshe Feinstein and you said to them, have you ever made error? Have you ever made an error?
Sure, they would say yes.
They would say yes.
Right.
So they're lying.
No, they're not lying. No, they're not lying. No. Ain't tzaddik be'adar asher lo yachta. There's no righteous man that doesn't sin. But what's their sin? Is that they didn't do something on a higher level.
Got it.
They once came to the Chafetz Chaim. You mentioned the Chafetz Chaim. And they said to him, you know what? You need to learn, you need to study a little bit. You're getting older. You need to, take down on your day-to-day to-do list. You need to stop. You need to learn a little less and relax a little more. So instead of studying for 12 hours, study for 10 hours. So the doctor, so he said to him, if I that learned 12 hours, start learning 10 hours. So the guy that's 10 hours, start learning 8 hours. The guy that's 8 hours, he can start learning 5 hours. The guy that's 5 hours, he's only learn 2 hours. The guy that's 2 hours, he's only going to learn 10 minutes. The guy who at least learn 10 minutes is not going to stop learning. So therefore, I'm not stopping to learn 12 hours. Because it's going to be a ripple effect.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's a tzaddik. A tzaddik is a guy who says that my last 2 hours is going to affect everything in the world. That's a righteous person. He's saying that not only that the 2 hours, what's comparable? You'll learn 2 hours less, Rabbeinu Shalom. Is that a sin? That you're gonna, instead of learning 10 hours, 12 hours, you learn 10 hours. Are you serious? You need to take a break. But a tzaddik says, no, if I take a break, it's going to affect the whole chain of events.
Oh my.
You understand? It's going to affect the whole world. My 2 hours of stopping to learn is not just going to affect me personally, which is not a sin even, trust me, but that's going to affect the whole world. And I cannot do that.
Wow.
Yeah, but
So you understand? So that's the tzaddik.
Aren't supposed to have the 2 pockets? Like one says the whole world was created me, and the other one says dust of nothing, right?
Correct. The whole world was created for me. That's not the point. That's the point of the whole world was created for me. That I take responsibility for all those people that are learning under me. That's a responsibility. If I take off, I'm responsible for the rest of the chain of events. That's the Mishvili Nevrayalim. The whole world's created for me, and I realize that I need to. If I'm going to lower my standards, then the person under me is going to lower their standards, and they keep on lowering. Everybody's going to lower their standards. No, we need to be higher our standards. We need to go higher in life. We need to be better in life, but we should never sin. Nobody. The Gemara says the Eibishter never gave a sin. There's no sin in the Torah that a person has to do. There's not a sin in the Torah that is a sin that is impossible not to accomplish. It's not true. It's a false statement. If anybody says, "Oh, but I was born in sin," that's a goyish concept. We were born in sin. We were born flawed. We're humans. Yes. We are negative people. That's not true. We are born neshamas senasatabi tahiri. You have created. It's pure. It's wonderful. It's unbelievable. And therefore, I should never ever do a sin. Never do a sin. And then the Gemara says there's a problem. The 3 sins that everybody usually falls through in, right? Lashon hara. Everybody loves that one. Lashon hara. And not learning, bittul Torah. Okay, we're all not learning Torah. Right? And in tefillah, we're not davening correctly.
But every morning in Tachanun we say for the sin which we have committed and we hit ourselves. So we have a whole list. We acknowledge.
Yeah. 100%. First of all, again, that's nothing. That's nothing wrong, because you could trust me. Even if you have never sinned, but you have unintentionally or done these 3 things, you still have to say Hashem V'Ganu. 100%. We all can reach higher. We all can reach higher. It's not the end of the world. We need to reach higher. The Yom Yom yesterday, the Rebbe says in the Yom Yom, the Chassidim would train. Where's the Yom Yom? Yeah, beautiful Yom Yom. Oh, well, look at this. Listen to this Yom Yom. It fits into what I'm saying. Listen to this Yom Yom. Listen to it. You're gonna like it. You're gonna like it. You're gonna like it. You're gonna like it. Ready? My revered father, the Rebbe, the Pirkei Rebbe is saying, my revered father, the Rebbe Rashab writes in one of his Maimarim, the Chassidim of early generations made a firm resolve in their souls that whatever they encountered something that was halachically permitted, but there was permitted, but they desired and craved for it. They felt the feeling of desire for it. They would refrain. Because they didn't want to have a desire. You want to have it because you need it. You want to have it because it's Hashem Shamayim. But if it's a personal desire,
an example, eating a piece of cake.
Taiva. Such a habit breaks physical desires. Now, physical desires is an aveda. Trust me, there's no aveda for having physical desires. But it's not a spiritual concept. Kedoshim. If you want to be a holy person, you need to be able to break your physical desires. That's it. Is there an Aveda to be a gluttonous, to eat like a... No, there's no Aveda.
You just tell me that lust is okay?
As long as it's kosher.
Lust is okay?
So I see a piece of cheesecake, right?
Yeah.
And I say, I want to make this bracha, right? I want to make this mazonas, but it looks so good.
That's it. Don't say it looks so good. I want to make a bracha. That looks so good. Killed it. I want to make a bracha. I didn't make a bracha today.
Okay, so you have liver.
So now I'm going to eat this piece of cheese.
Liver, you can have the cheese.
Listen, I'm just saying. Listen. I'm not saying. I'm just telling you what meant by them. What meant by them their spiritual struggles. They didn't have a spiritual struggle in Aveda. They didn't want to do a sin. They had a spiritual struggle in their character, in the taivas. That's it. Halavai, we had those kind of struggles. We'd be better people.
You said, Rabbi, that it's not a sin to eat like a glutton, but isn't it like a mitzvah to guard your body and
go eat like a glutton and then go to the gym and do some pull-ups. I don't know. Yeah, that's a shvatan of sheichem. I agree with you. I'm not.
I'm a little confused because
you're confused. That's part of it.
Chaos. Yeah,
chaos.
Right on with that. But Hashem created us, and He knew what we were about.
100%. He created us perfect.
He knew we were going to sin. So He created us.
Where does it say that? Well, it says God created man. He saw it was beautiful. Tov Ma'od.
Yeah, but
so what are you talking about? The Eibusha created it on Friday. It says Tov Ma'od. The Eibusha saw that His creation was good. He didn't say, I saw the creation and it's lousy. He did not say that. He said, Tov Ma'od. It's very good.
Immediately their desire, they couldn't control their
desire. That's okay. Just because you can't control your desire doesn't mean that it's bad. Learn to control your desire.
Right.
You'd be happy that Eibusha created you with desire. If you didn't create your desire, then you would be not who you are. The Eibusha created desire, curb your desires. That's it. I gave you, the Gemara says, I gave you Yetzer Hara and I gave you a Tavlin. I gave you the Yetzer Hara and I gave you the Torah to learn how to control it. That you don't want to control it is not my problem. You need to learn how to control it. I gave you a desire to eat and learn how to control it.
I mean, within how many minutes did they fall?
What?
So He must have created a pretty defective...
No, it's not defective. It's perfect. Because the fall is also perfect. The fall is also perfect. Everything is perfect. The fall is perfect. It's 100%. It's all part of my journey. The fall is part of my journey.
Rabbi Bukiet, 2 weeks ago we were having our class and we were discussing intentionally, unintentional. Said, no such thing as unintentional.
Right.
And today we said,
Okay.
Right. So the answer is simple. You know, that is the way I look at myself and the way I look at others. Understand?
No.
Continue.
The way I look at myself is no unintentional.
Is what?
Excellent.
Right?
When you look at yourself,
The way I look at myself, there's no unintentional. Everything's intentional. The way I look at others is unintentional. We're done as kolon the kavskos. So everybody. That's why I say the Rebbe looked at everybody as unintentional. That's it. You understand? You always look at somebody else as unintentional. The way the Eibush looks at others is unintentional. Unless the guy is mechavan liberty, why would God judge everybody that he's intentional? Why would God do that?
Just say, unless the guy is mechavan.
And then the guy is a murdered malchus. He openly says, "I want to go against God." You know how many guys do that? I'm going to fight against the Kodesh Baruch. You haven't been Avot. You haven't been Avot. A guy who went out and fought against the Kodesh Baruch. Even the Rambam says all these people that are arguing with, they're all ignorant. It's all ignorance. It has nothing to do with knowledge. It's a bunch of ignorant people that talk. They don't know what they're talking about. Have no idea what they're talking about.
No, Rabbi, I just have a question. I understand what you're saying is that we don't buy into this concept of original sin, which is that we're
Correct.
destined to do an Avera.
Right.
But the reality is that on Yom Kippur, we have all these al-chaitz,
Right.
the possibility that you could have done these things.
Right.
I mean, a guy could machal Shabbos,
Right.
forgetting about having two witnesses or whatever,
Right.
but it is very possible that your nefesh behema gives into the
100%.
year and you do an Avera.
Correct. Correct. Beautiful.
You're predestined to do it.
But that is says even further. That is you say al chet and Hashem not for yourself.
Can anybody
You're selling it for everybody. But also you're saying it. So and I'm saying, let's say you don't do this Avera. You still should say it because you're part of the Jewish nation, and there's a Jewish person out there that maybe did that Avera, and therefore I'm going to say al chet for him. Okay, even though he's not yes, because my neshama is connected to his neshama, and I'm going to say al chet for
But
him.
the other question I have also is that I've always had difficulty with this piece in Tanya, that the Baal Tanya says, I'm a Beinoni.
Right.
So if the Baal Tanya is a Beinoni...
No, the Baal Tanya never said that. No, Rabbi said, I'm a Beinoni. Baal Tanya Rabbi says.
How is it possible that we also consider ourselves...
That was a biased question.
I'm very confused by that.
So the Alter Rebbe answered that question.
How do you say?
Because the Alter Rebbe answered that question. He says because a Beinoni and a tzaddik has a vast difference, but they both are perfect. That's why a Beinoni a tzaddik
won't sin, but he
doesn't even have desire to sin.
Right.
But the tzaddik might think, since in his humbleness, he might think I'm only a Beinoni. That's why Rabbi made a mistake. He said, Rabbi didn't make a mistake. He made a mistake, and he said that I am a Beinoni. Right. Rabbi was not a Beinoni. Rabbi was a tzaddik gomer. Right. The Malach HaMavis couldn't kill him. Right. He's a tzaddik gomer. But Rabbi said maybe I'm not. Maybe I have within deep in me. I still have the capability of sin. So that's his anivus. His humility. His humility forced him to say that even though, because a tzaddik is not somebody who fools himself, I'm not a tzaddik. He knows who he is. Right. But he said maybe that I don't want to sin. That not because maybe there's something deep in me. Maybe listen. Yochanan Kohen Gadol was a Kohen Gadol in the Beis Hamikdash for 18 years, and then he became a tzduki. He became a heretic. It happens. See, that's why a person should never trust himself. That's why the Gemara says a tzaddik, the Eibishter sometimes takes away a tzaddik even though he doesn't do it because he's afraid, right? Yitzchak Avinu, he takes him early because he's afraid he might sin. He might. Yitzchak's going to sin. Not going to, but you never trust. Nobody. If a tzaddik come at Rosh too. Free choice was given to everybody, even to the most righteous person. He can become a heretic. It's possible.
Yeah, but Rabbi,
it's bad because that's free choice. The tzaddik didn't lose his free choice. The Rasha didn't lose his free choice either. Nobody's lost their free choice. Everybody can do whatever they want to do, and even the righteous person can become a wicked person, and the most wicked person in the world can become the most righteous person. There's nobody who can control that concept. Ein davar oim v'nei tshuva. So even though nothing stands for the tshuva, even though the Mishnah says, "Ein maspikim yadas tshuva," we don't let him do tshuva sometimes. We don't let him. But if a guy wants to, you cannot stop it. Like the famous story of Menashe. Menashe was the king. Even the Malachim didn't want to let him to Gan Eden. The Malachim said, "We're not letting this guy into Gan Eden." The Eibush started to drill a hole. The Gemara says he drilled a hole underneath he had to drill a hole. You had to find it. To bring his neshama up there. to say no. I'm letting his neshama Gan Eden, right? Because he did tshuva. So ain't davar oim of tshuva. Nothing stands before the aspect of tshuva. So that's between the Yid and the Eibishter, and there's nobody who can have control on that concept. Nobody should have control on that aspect. But it's beautiful concepts. Just to throw it in, make it a little juicy. but that Gemara, I mentioned the Gemara, but Rava says Chayiv Adam Levasumi Bepuria, that a person has to get drunk in Puria till he doesn't know the difference. The Gemara then brings down a story. Right then, the Gemara says a story. The Rabbi invites Abzeda to a party. Come Rabbi v'shachtel Abzeda. They get drunk at the party, and Rabbi kills Abzeda. Right? And then the next day, brings him back. Das Tchias HaMeisa Rabbi. That's a great tzaddik Rabbi. Right? And then, he thought he was a baby, it was a mistake. He did a mistake. And then a year later, he invites him again to the party. Right? Rabbi meets Abzeda, he says, wow, what a party we had last year. Let's do it again. So Abzeda says, he says, no thank you. But why? Because maybe I won't come back.
Yeah.
Right? So on this Gemara, there's so much, it's like crazy. On this Gemara, what's the meaning? How Rabba, Tzaddik Gama kills Abzeda. It's like crazy. It's like crazy. That's why some people didn't kill him, he hurt him, he got him drunk. All these kind of different kind of things. And some people say that's an open statement that Rabba, you're not allowed to get drunk and put him. Look at the story. Rabba, the great Tzaddik Rabba, kills Abzeda. I mean, it's a crazy story. The biggest problem of the story is the Rabbi doesn't even say I'm sorry to Abzeda. Right? He kills him. Next day, he wakes him up, he gives him back, and say, oh, Abzeda, I'm sorry I killed you. I apologize. Doesn't apologize to him. The Gemara doesn't say that Rabbi apologized to Abzeda. It doesn't even say that Abzeda suddenly says, I'm going to stick away from Rabbi. The guy's a murderer. We're hanging around Rabbi. I don't care how great tzaddik he is. I'm not hanging around this guy. Right? The next year, he doesn't say, when he invites him, he says, you crazy? You killed me. Are you going to kill me again? You can't drink. You can't hold your liquor. So, no, he doesn't say that. He says, not every time happens a miracle. I won't come back again. Right. So the Rebbe says that Kam Rabba Shachta Azeda is a whole different meaning into the Gemara. The Gemara is actually Adal Yadid. The Gemara says that Rabba they both went into the Rabba uplifted Abzeda. It's in the name itself. Rabba is great. Abzeda is small. Zeta is small.
And he kills Yitzhahara?
He kills him he elevates him to such a level that he has klois hanefesh. The guy elevates such a level that his soul ascends. And like Nadav Avihu. Correct. And that's what the Torah says right after Nadav Avihu. It says, don't drink mashke, right? That's the first bit, because the Gemara said they went in drunk. Right?
To the party.
They went into the Holy of Holies, and Moshe Rabbeinu says they're holier than us. And Moshe Rabbeinu, they weren't married, not a problem, because they didn't want to get involved in the world. But Moshe Rabbeinu says, Nadav Avihu are holier than me and you, Moshe Aaron.
Who said that? I'm sorry?
Moshe Rabbeinu tells Aaron that these two are greater than us.
Right.
Because they wanted. The problem is they didn't come back. That's the problem. Yeah. So Abzeda said the same thing. Wow. Thank you for inviting me to the party. You kidding me? You did me I had a revelation of a party that I never had in my life. I had a revelation of godliness at that party. I would come again. But I might not come back again. Yeah. And that's the problem. You can't promise me you're going to be able to bring me back. Wow. And therefore I don't want to come to the party. Not that I'm angry at you. Thank you. It was a great party. It was an unbelievable celebration. I went to Adel Yada. We went together to the higher levels of spirituality. But you know what? You're Rabbi and you don't have to worry about it. And you're going to always have your 2 feet on the ground. But I'm Rabbi Zeta. I'm a little smaller than you. And I'm a little smaller. And I might not come back. Wow. And that's the problem. That's what Rabbi Zeta. Not that Rabbi Zeta is angry at Rabbi. Not Rabbi apologizes to Rabbi Zeta. Because Rabbi did the best thing to Rabbi Zeta he ever had in his life. So I don't know if you found another guy to have the party with, whatever. Maybe he partied himself. But Rabbi and Abzeda. But Rabbi was if you know what Rabbi is, like Pastor Pumigisa, Rabbi was a Jew that never stopped learning Torah 24/7. 24/7, that the Malach HaMavos could not affect him. They had to ask him an halacha. It's a whole Gemara. They had to ask him an halacha, and he had to the paskin, and he died. Yatsa Nishmasi, the word Tahor.
No, say it in English, please.
Whatever, they asked him a question, he had to think about it, and that's when the Malach HaMavos got the chance, and he said Tahor. He said the word Tahor. He said the word, it's pure. Yatsa Nishmasi b'Tahara. His neshama went out with the word Tahor. It's a Gemara. It's pure. His neshama went out with the word Tahor. And that's when the neshama went out. So the Malach, they had to figure out a way how to, corner him in. David Melech had the same situation, right? They had to figure out a way how to maneuver the situation to get him to think for a second, to get it not to be focused and take and to be able to take his neshama, so to say, away from his guf. So these were great tzaddikim. These were unbelievable, righteous people who had unbelievable tzaddikim. The Gemara says, if you want to know what tzaddik is, you don't know a righteous person, tzaddikim libam b'reshusam. Which means their hearts in their reshus. They are balabas of the world. They are the balabas of the existence, their existence, the world existence. They are balabatim. Tzaddik goes HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mekayim. The tzaddik demands, the Eibishter listens. There's no argument by God when a tzaddik demands. The Eibishter listens. Why? He's in control of himself. He's in control. If you're not in control, you're not a tzaddik. Okay, tzaddikim libam b'reshusam. Tzaddikim, their hearts are in their domain. They are in self-control. Whatever happens to them, they are in control. That's why it says tzaddikim mekabel yisurim ba'ahava. A tzaddik accepts pain with love because he's in control. He's in control.
So yet on Purim,
the Moshe Rebbe,
drunk.
I'll tell you.
Was a tzaddik,
and
Hamanzu was a Russia. We confuse the two.
Right. If you're a tzaddik,
so how is
the tzaddik sees Yisurim as part of the Ava. He sees the Haman as the Rasha as also part of the Ava. He sees everything as good. The Ava, he sees everything as part of the journey. The Moshe Rebbe, this is a true story. The Moshe Rebbe, the previous Moshe Rebbe lived in the early 30s, and they had to give him an operation, and but they had to give him anesthesiology. They had to put him to sleep, and they told him that to put him to sleep, he's not going to make it. He's not going to make it through the operation. So he said, this is a true story, document the story. He said, okay, let me sing a niggin. Let me sing a niggin. And when I'll come to a certain part of the niggin, this part of the song, I'll tell you, and you do the operation. And so it was. He started niggin. The Moshe were known for nigunim. They started his niggin, and then in the middle of the niggin, he said, go. And he was like in a different world, and they didn't put him to sleep. And he had a whole operation while he was singing a niggin. Tzaddikim, libam, b'reshusam. A righteous man, his whole body, his whole entity is in his control. It's totally in his domain.
Which Rebbe was that?
The Moshe Rebbe. It's a famous story. The Rebbe said the story of the Moshe Rebbe. He said it's a famous story of the Moshe Rebbe that he sang a niggin. This is open heart surgery. He sang a niggin, and they didn't give him anesthesia, and he sang a niggin, and they did an operation as he sang this niggin, and he didn't feel anything.
Must have been a heck of a tune.
What a nigga.
You know what I mean? Tzaddikim, leave him, but don't try this at home. Tzaddikim, leave him, but the righteous person are in control. They are totally and utterly in control, and most of us are not in control. As we'll learn Tanya, but I gotta go. Have a wonderful, beautiful, happy